Hey, moving with fish tanks is a nightmare, and I've got more than a few. So we just got notice that we have to move because the landlord wants to sell the house. Well, needless to say, my heart dropped in my stomach because moving is stressful enough, not to mention moving with all these fish tanks. Well, have you ever wondered what happens when you have to relocate dozens of gallons of water, delicate ecosystems, and stressed out fish? Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. But today I'm going to show you how to do it and without turning your fish's world upside down, literally. Hey, let's be honest, moving is already stressful, but add in a bunch of glass tanks, live plants, sensitive fish, and you're looking at a whole new level of chaos. Whether you've got a single 10-gallon betta tank or a room full of aquascape masterpieces, moving them as safely is a challenge most people underestimate. But don't worry, I've been through this more times than I care to admit, and I'm here to walk you through every step of the process. Here's the thing. Fish tanks aren't just boxes of water. They're delicate, self-contained ecosystems. Every plant, rock, and fish plays a role in keeping that balance. So, when you move a tank, you're not just transporting glass and water. You're relocating an entire world in that box. And that world doesn't take kindly of being shaken up. Hey, fish can get stressed, plants can die, and your carefully cycled tank can crash if you're not careful. And if you think you can just drain the water, toss everything in a box, and set it back up at the new place, well, let's just say you might be in for a rude surprise. So, how do you move a fish tank without turning it into a total disaster? Let me break it down. This isn't something you can just wing at the last minute. A successful tank move starts with planning. Fortunately for me, I have until the end of June to figure this all out. But first, you want to figure out where your tanks are going to go in the new place. Is the floor sturdy enough to hold that 75-gallon behemoth? Is there an outlet nearby for your filters and heaters? And think about things like natural light. You really don't want to accidentally set up your tank where it'll be blasted by sunlight all day. Unless you're into algae blooms. At the moment, we don't have a place to move to quite yet. However, good news, we're all looking and hopefully looking to buy a house so we can be there for a while. Then, thank goodness, I won't have to move the tanks again for at least 10 years or so. Hopefully. Anyway, you'll need a few things to make this process smooth. Buckets or containers with lids for transporting water and fish, or you could use fish bags like the ones you get from the store, coolers or insulated boxes to keep fish warm, and then towels and blankets to cushion your tanks, siphon hoses for draining water, packing materials for delicate equipment like heaters and filters, and then last but not least, air pumps or battery-operated aerators if it's a long move. So, fish are sensitive, and they're sensitive to changes in water temperature and quality. A day before the move, stop feeding them. This reduces waste in the water during transport, and when you're ready to move, gently catch your fish and place them in the bags or the containers with water from their tank. And then make sure to leave some air at the top of the bag. They need oxygen. So aquarium plants can be just as sensitive as your fish. So for short moves, you can keep them submerged in tank water. But for longer moves, I would really highly recommend wrap the roots in wet paper towels and place them in plastic bags. And don't let them dry out. That's a quick way to lose your beautiful aquascape. Now, it's time to tackle the tank itself. Start by draining most of the water using a siphon hose, but keep some of it for the new setup. It helps maintain the biological balance. And then carefully remove decorations, rocks, and substrate. If you have live rocks or biomedia, keep them wet to preserve the beneficial bacteria. Okay, so tanks. Never move a tank with water in it. The weight alone can cause the glass to crack or the seals to fail. Wrap the tank in towels or blankets and then make sure it's secure in your vehicle. If it's a big tank, get help. And then trust me, your back will thank you. So once you arrive at your new place, set the tank back up as quickly as you can. Add the saved water first, then decorations and substrate, and then fill the rest with dechlorinated water, making sure the temperature matches what your fish are used to. Let the filters and heaters run for a bit before reintroducing your fish. Don't just dump your fish back in. They've been through enough. Float the bags in the tank to let them adjust to the new temperature. And then slowly add small amounts of tank water to their bag over the course of 15 to 30 minutes. Once they're acclimated, gently release them into the new home. Now here's the moment of truth. Watching your fish settle back into the tank. If you've done everything right, they'll start exploring like nothing ever happened. But if you rush the process or skip steps, you might notice signs of stress. Clamped fins, hiding, or even worse, a tank crash. So this is where patience pays off. Take your time, monitor your fish, and closely for the next few days, and then be ready to address any issues that may pop up. Moving tanks is tough, but seeing your fish healthy and thriving in their new space, it is so totally worth it. Moving with fish tanks might sound like a nightmare, and honestly, it can be if you're not prepared. But with the right planning and a little patience, you can pull it off without losing your mind or your fish. But remember, plan ahead, handle everything with care, and then take your time setting things back up. Your fish will thank you. Hey, subscribe for more tips, and I'm planning on filming the whole thing and let you experience the move and be able to see the new setup in the new house. Check out this next video, and I will see you there.